I'm trying to do is to explain logically from, from like a philosophy book, from the beginning up and up and up and up, why gold is not a doorstop. It's not just some shiny metal. It is the basis of everything that we have now, because everything started with that. Like world trade as a globalization in a good way, in the good sense of it, like the world connecting with each other. That happened because, people just started moving to gold because it was working. And that's all. And to once you understand there's no logical way out of gold being money, it has to be, because otherwise the derivatives of gold are worthless.
The global precious metals market size was valued at $243,584.63 million in 2022 and is expected to expand at a CAGR of 5.38% during the forecast period, reaching $333,487.65 million by 2028. Rafi Farber, a notable financial investor known for his insights as the founder of the Endgame Investor, has been a prominent voice in the world of precious metals. In his analysis, Rafi Farber values physical gold and silver for their profit potential in crises and their ability to combat inflation-driven corruption. The Global Gold Monetary Fund, GGMF, has officially announced its debut, representing a significant stride towards fostering economic development and ensuring long-term prosperity by reintroducing gold as a medium of exchange. Regarding Farber's perspective, he asserts that the dollar was never fully detached from gold in 1971, despite common belief. President Richard Nixon's actions in 1971 to end dollar convertibility to gold and implement wage/price controls were intended to address the international dilemma of a looming gold run and the domestic problem of inflation. The precious metals market has witnessed substantial growth in recent years, and it is projected to continue growing strongly in the near future, fueled by technological advancements and growing customer demand. Now, we are presenting you the glimpse of Rafi Farber insights from his recent interview. Before we continue to delve into this discussion, please subscribe to our channel and activate the bell icon for timely updates.
The thing that I focus on is that there's two reasons to have physical gold and silver in your hand. One is because you want to profit in this upcoming collapse, assuming you believe that's what's going to happen. But much more importantly, and what I've been focusing on lately, is that if you trace back, we all know the world is going corrupted in every sphere. Everything is corrupted. Education is corrupted, politics is corrupted, medicine is corrupted, pharmaceuticals are corrupted, academia, everything is corrupted. And why is it corrupted? Because the inflation machine that is fed by the Federal Reserve, and the money is directed with, tributaries by Congress into different things, right? For example, how can Pfizer get all this money for its medications? Because they force Medicare and Medicaid to pay for it by covering it with FDA approval or whatever it is they get. And then they get like a latch into the inflation system right into their bank accounts. That's how it works. That's how the inflation corrupts education. It corrupts everything. Now, how do you fix inflation? How do you end it? Well, we talk about Exner's pyramid a lot. It's gold. On top of gold is physical paper dollars. On top of that is debt. On top of that is deposits. On top of that is stocks. On top of that is bonds. On top of all that is Bitcoin. It goes in a giant pyramid. And if you want to, attacking the top layers of the pyramid, it can be very daunting, because that's where the government is very powerful. And you don't want to mess with their big banks, and they're untouchable, and you can't really do anything about them. And it's just this huge corruption machine. But where can you really get them? On what issue will they not censor you? They won't censor you on gold and silver, because they don't even realize that they are on top of the same pyramid that we are. So every physical gold and silver ounce that we hold in our hand physically, that's chopping down the base of the entire pyramid. And yes, it will cause it to fall over. And that is very scary. And there's going to be a lot of negative consequences for a lot of people, meaning everyone who thought that they had money will not have money. And everyone who has gold and silver will have all the money, because that is the money and everything else is a derivative. We're going to chop that pyramid down. Everything's going to fall over. And then we're going to have to rebuild it ourselves. But that's our job. We have to end this corruption by going beneath them all, digging under the entire thing and toppling it over. That's why we need physical gold and silver. And you'll protect your family in the meantime, which is a good thing too. So here's where I don't think I disagree substantively. I couch it in different terms as to what actually happened in 1971. Because in my way of thinking, there is no detaching dollar from gold. There is. It's possible. But once that happens, meaning by detaching, I mean you can no longer hand in any hunk of dollars for any amount of gold. Nobody accepts any dollars. That's a real full disconnect. And that's just another way of saying hyperinflation. When you can no longer exchange the derivative for the actual money, where the derivative comes from, it was born in gold, or really silver, but then it moved to gold, but whatever, that's a historical point. Then you're really in a hyperinflationary scenario, and you have to go back to gold directly. So in 1971, people say that Nixon took the dollar off of gold. I don't think that's what he actually did. What he actually did, I think, was that he just admitted that all the printing that they'd done since not from 1934 to 1971, he can't really pay it off anymore. So like he's saying basically, we're not going to lie about the $35 an ounce constant statutory rate anymore. That's fiction. Now we're going to let the market decide what the exchange rate is, and we'll let the bullion dealers, deal with that, and we'll set up a futures market to stabilize the price or whatever. So that's what he did. He just said, well, we've been lying since 1933. I'm sorry, we can't pay anymore. So we're still not disconnected from gold, because you can still exchange it back and forth. And our goal should be to disconnect it so we can ditch the dollar and go back to gold and then rebuild from there. Because we're on an inflationary pyramid that keeps getting thinner and thinner the higher and higher you go, and none of us can breathe up here. That's the problem. So I say disconnect it completely. That's what we're trying to do by buying the gold and chipping away at the pyramid.
During the interview, Rafi Farber shared his belief about gold-backed currency, as governments are unlikely to voluntarily return to a gold standard. The bottom line is a gold-backed currency would lead to greater volatility in inflation, economic growth, and the financial system of the BRICS if they choose to preference trading among themselves over Western countries. A gold standard is procyclical and therefore futile, if not witless. Meanwhile, Rafi Farber showed skepticism about central banks' gold purchases, suggesting they may be driven by panic and a desire to defend their currencies. Central bank gold demand remains solid, with China buying another 29 tons in August, extending its buying spree to 10 straight months. However, investors are reluctant to make any bullish bets on gold, as the Federal Reserve maintains its hawkish bias and keeps interest rates at elevated levels. Let's get back to the interview.
I don't think there's any potential of a gold-backed currency by BRICS. I think that's all nonsense. Because at bottom, there's no government that wants to return to gold, because that means they have to deal with reality and balance their checkbook. I mean, that's not going to happen. So that's not even a goal for them. I think that's just something that gold bugs are latching onto because we want some kind of news to focus on. Ultimately, everything's going to fall. It's not going to be BRICS, and I don't see the gold standard returning as some kind of agreement of central powers to say, okay, we're going to go on gold now and wreck the entire way that our economies are structured, and then we'll deal with the riots afterwards with whatever power we have left, and possible suicide. It's for a government to go back on gold after all this inflation, and everyone is on inflation because everyone is following the Fed more or less within certain exchange rates. It's like a massive dose of chemotherapy for a government. And why would they do that voluntarily? They wouldn't unless they're dying. And it's going to be a bottom-up thing. It's going to be the dollar dies, therefore every other currency underneath the dollar dies, therefore nobody has any money, and governments can't pay their thugs. So then people in the street in local communities start trading gold and silver with each other to try to build up economies locally, and then we start reattaching from the ground up. It's going to be a long process. And I really hope that as bad as the Biden administration, not even specifically the Biden administration, any administration, since Nixon or even before that, since FDR, they're all bad. But what scares me even more than a U.S. administration that has no respect for liberty, let's say Xi Jinping or China, if he were in charge of anything and he actually had superpower status, that's a world I do not want to be in. That really terrifies me. Putin, okay. I don't like Putin either, but Xi Jinping, because now he has power because he's the head of the BRICS, that's terrifying. And I don't want that. I am not a BRICS fan. And I hope they fail, and they will, because they're just another derivative of the dollar, whether they like it or not. I'm just saying people are going to come after these FOMC meeting people of different countries, and they're going to try to attack them. So the only conclusion I can come to is they're in a panic. They're buying gold because they think that if they have enough gold and their currency is in trouble, they can sell the gold and then strengthen their currency temporarily and buy themselves a few months. But we've seen in Turkey, they bought a bunch of gold. at the bottom. They sold it at the top. They bought it at the bottom again, and now they're selling it again. How's their currency doing? It's nothing. It's hyperinflating nothing. So it doesn't really matter how much gold a central bank has if the people don't give you any credit because they think you're going to sell it. So I don't really care how much gold central banks have.
The precious metals market shows a positive outlook, propelled by rising demand. Compared to 2022, broker analysts' consensus price forecasts point towards more gains in 2023. A quick review of the London Bullion Market Association, LBMA, gold analyst forecasts and Bloomberg screens indicate that a majority of analysts had price increase forecasts for 2023. Meanwhile, these insights offer a glimpse into the complexities of a potential shift back to a gold-backed currency and the challenges central banks face when attempting to use gold reserves to ensure currency stability. Can gold continue to serve as a reliable hedge against inflation and economic uncertainties in the 21st century? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you find this video informative, don't forget to show your support towards our channel by giving this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay informed about our latest videos covering more exciting topics. Thank you for watching.